Let's be honest, when I started trying to glow up in my 30s, I did what most of us did and went straight to social media. And somehow that turned into daily matcha runs, expensive Pilates memberships that I couldn't keep up, and a closet full of Chanel handbags that didn't match my wardrobe in the least bit. And after all of that, I still wasn't any closer to having the quote unquote soft life or glowing up. I'm Mercedes. I just turned 40 this year, and as I've gotten older, the more I've realized the soft life isn't a trend, it isn't a vibe, it isn't a color palette. It's a grown woman approach, and it actually has to fit the life you are living. Today, I want to talk about what the soft life actually looks like for a grown woman based on my experience, not what TikTok told me. My shift didn't start with burnout. I didn't have some dramatic breaking point. For me, it was quieter, and honestly, it was quite a bit humbling. In my early to mid and even late 30s, I kept noticing small stuff, how I dressed. I looked frumpy, and it did not match the woman I was trying to become. My routines did not support who I was trying to grow into, and all the content I was seeing online didn't match my actual lifestyle. I was leveling up in work, doing more emotional growing, choosing better in my relationships, and even rethinking my friendships. But when I looked at my day-to-day life, it didn't fully reflect the growth that I was experiencing everywhere else, and I wanted that to change. So naturally, in true millennial fashion, I went straight to the interwebs, and that's where things got a little interesting. Everything about the soft life and glowing up I saw at that time came from women who were about 10 to 15 years younger than me, and they were beautiful, no shade, and their lives look very lit. I even watch some of them to this day, but their realities didn't match mine. I'm a grown woman. I work in full-time in corporate America. I can't spend hours getting ready to run errands every day. And the spending, ooh, child. The way I let TikTok and YouTube convince me that I needed every trending luxury handbag to feel elevated is low-key embarrassing. I was buying jumbo Chanel classic flaps, and I don't even like big bags. I was buying the aesthetic, not what really looked well and worked for me at that time. And even with doing all that on the outside, I didn't feel softer. Nothing changed. I was spending all this money when honestly, I could have been directing that money elsewhere. So for me, my shift finally happened, and I will say it's happening, when I stopped looking outward and actually started to pay more attention to what I really wanted. Story time. I realized that I didn't have personal style. I had Instagram tags of other people's style. I was wearing what looked good on them, not what looked good on me. And now I'm finally starting to focus on things like silhouettes, colors, fabrics that actually make me feel more pulled together. And I'm finally starting to feel like things are clicking and things are changing. It's also not just about aesthetics either, because I also started to change how I chose relationships. Choosing my husband, for example, which was one of the softest and most glow-up decisions I have ever made, by the way. Before I met him, I was choosing the most toxic and chaotic dudes who were choosing me, to be completely honest. I allow people into my life that I should have never allowed into my life. I had to be clear about what it meant to choose a partner rather than just being chosen. And before that, y'all come for me. I'm not preaching that everybody needs to be married in order to experience the soft life. That was just my experience and what worked for me. Another area where I was starting to glow up was around my boundaries. In terms of how I approach my friendships, my daily routine, how I approach my work, I started giving my energy to things that fed me rather than draining me. And that honestly led to a softer life. I stopped chasing titles and pay, and instead I started to chase jobs that actually did pay me more while allowing me to maintain better work-life balance. And that was another area where I started to soften things out a bit. So what is the soft life for a grown woman? The soft life clearly isn't a vibe. It's not a filter, and it's definitely not shopping from an endless list of trends. For a grown woman, the soft life should be the standard. No buts, no ifs, ands, no, just period, the standard. Showing up in a way that makes you feel more pulled and put together, to me, is about living into the soft life. For me, softness really started with being more intentional about how I was showing up, not for anyone else's sign off, but because it truly changed how I felt. I think peace in relationships. Softness requires choosing people who treat you more softly. Period. Not who drain you. Supportive routines. Not rigid, just routines that help you look more pulled together without feeling overwhelmed. A life that reflects your evolution. For me, softness isn't about checking out of real life, but it's about doing what makes life feel easier. I'm starting this channel because I don't see a lot of women in their 40s, their 50s, and their 60s and beyond talking about the soft life in a way that makes sense for me and reflect what the soft life means for me. Women who are evolving, women who want to look good, who want to feel good, who want to choose better, who want to live softer without pretending that they're 22. Not that there are things that we can learn from one another across generations, but the reality is that a 22-year-old's life looks a heck of a lot different than my life as someone who just turned 40. They're set up differently. And this channel is for grown women who are trying to figure out what softness looks like for them now in a way that actually feels real and works for our everyday lives. And as we move into the new year, I'm less interested in big, lofty resolutions. I'm more interested in what are the small changes that I can make and how I show up, how I take care of myself as I move through and try to figure out this phase of life as a grown woman. And so if you're ready to move into this next season of life more softly and in a way that actually fits where you are in your life, then we in this together, boo. I'm Mercedes, and this is the Soft Life Edit for grown women. Thanks for watching.